evening, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Global Women in Council for the Promotion of International Trade, GCPIT, has started this global conversation series with women achievers and leaders to understand their journey, to learn from their experiences, and also to pave the way for more women leaders to join the wagon to create a sustainable change in the society in terms of gender equality, diversity, and inclusion. We have another very special guest with us today to talk about her journey. She is an award-winning journalist, broadcaster, and author. She says she is passionate about blockchain and its transformational impact. Named 2020 Blockchain Journalist of the Year at upprint.com. Awarded 2019 Blockchain Journalist at CC Forum London. Named as one of the top 100 blockchain leaders globally by Lattice AP. Shortlisted for the 2019 IMRO National Radio Awards. Named as one of the 50 most influential women in blockchain. She has held senior positions with global PR companies in Sydney, Singapore, London, and Dublin. She was PR of Iona Technologies, Ireland's first company to float on NASDAQ. She changed the law in Ireland in 2014 and is a former European parliamentary candidate as an independent. She is a founder and journalist in the blockleaders.io. She freelances for Irish Tech News, Irish Central, the Irish Independent, and the Irish Times. She has her own radio shows on Dublin City FM and East Coast FM. Her first job after graduating from Trinity College was as systems analyst with JP Morgan. She is advisor to a number of ICOs and has been named the crypto queen by In Zero conferences, and as well as listed as the 50 most influential women in the global blockchain roll call. She is a board member of EOS Dublin. She keynotes and chairs blockchain events around the world, including Kiev, Austin, Muscat, Colombo, Dublin, Dubai, Amsterdam, Malta, and London. She has been featured in Al Jazeera, Russia Today, BBC Two, Newsnight, UK Telegraph, RTE, TV3, Huffington Post, New York Times, the Irish Times, Vogue Italia, and the Irish Independent, amongst other publications. She is now one of GCPIT's 100 chosen global women leaders and also the winner of She Trade's Global Leadership Awards 2021. Let me proudly welcome Ms. Jillian Godsil to the show. Welcome, Ms. Jillian.
Well, Aparna, thank you so much indeed for your welcome. And I feel a bit old now. I think that list was too long. But thank you so much. You're very kind to read out all those things. Thank you indeed.
No, that was an amazing profile. And we are proud to have you in our Women in Leadership Conversation series. Tell me, Jillian, where did all this journey start?
Oh, a long time ago. But my most recent journey would have begun, I think, when I've been worked in fintech for many years, for 30 odd years, hence the long CV. You know, the longer you live, the more things you get to add in. But the last 3 years in particular, I've been focusing on blockchain. And for me, it's very important. And then we're in the middle of a pandemic. It even makes it even more important. But it's been a long time coming. I've been very at the forefront of fintech for 30 years. I also did a lot of activism in 2008 during the crash. That's when I did all that mad stuff about changing the law and running for the European parliamentary elections. Again, when I was supporting people who were failing financially and going, this is not a crime, it happens, you know. And then, as I say, blockchain, about 3 years ago, I suddenly discovered blockchain and I went, this technology is transformational and it democratizes opportunity. And that's what I'm all about and this is what the theme for International Women's Day, what your program is all about, is it's democratizing opportunity. And that's the key word. It's not, we're all born differently. We're all born in different countries with different languages, with different parents, with different homes, with different levels of education. You can't equalize the world in that sense. And nor would you want to, because the world is a wonderful place with diverse people and diverse backgrounds. But you want to give that opportunity to everybody. And that's the key thing, that whether I come from a slum in Mumbai or a posh suburb in Dublin, that I get opportunity to go after the things that I'm passionate about.
Okay, so what I've seen is most of the time women back off hearing the name technology, and especially blockchain. I don't think many of women out here, especially in India, are aware of. So what do you think? You said it's a transformation technology, right? So what do you think opportunities?
Do you know what? Technology is so exciting for women because there's an old joke when the internet first came out, and the joke was, there's a picture, it's a cartoon, it's a picture of a dog on the computer, a dog on a computer, and he's ordering a pizza. And the joke is, nobody knows on the internet that you're a dog, right? So, and the joke being that anybody could be ordering, you're online, who knows? As long as you have access to a credit card, be a smart dog, you know? And the same way, technology has that thing where it doesn't matter who you are. You know, it's not like, I don't know, there's other occupations. Maybe, you know, if you need to be a construction worker, maybe you need to have very big muscles to break, I don't know, you need, in other areas, maybe you need different attributes. But technology is agnostic. And even though women run away from it, it's agnostic in terms of you don't have to be a man or a woman. You just have to enjoy the technology. And I think the big thing about technology too as well is that men tend to get into it more frequently, and they tend to be geeky, you know, the nerdy, geeky types, and they're very maths brains. But and that's, I'm being stereotypical here, whatever. So, but women who aren't necessarily nerdy types, and I'm not a nerdy type, we bring to this profession a great myriad of different capabilities and skill sets that can be used, because it's not enough to have a maths brain. You know, a maths brain can solve a maths problem, but then it's like those tests they have that if you are driving along and you are about to, they're actually the real tests for when they're developing cars and autonomous cars, and it said you're coming to a traffic lights and there's an old man about to walk in front of you or two young kids. Which way do you swerve? Who do you save, right? Now, that's a human judgment thing, and I'm not going to try to say who you save. But a computer would say, oh, the man is old and the child is young. But the man could be Einstein. I don't know. So you need, it's not enough to have a maths brain in this world. Technology, A, is open. It doesn't matter who you are. But just because you think perhaps I'm not that nerdy, geeky, and maybe you are too as well, that's super. But if you're not nerdy, geeky, you can still do technology, and you bring to it a whole raft of otherness, which is amazing. So, technology for me is one of these careers where anybody can be amazing.
Right, and this pandemic time has been, in a way, a blessing. There are huge opportunities out there to learn. Right, there are a lot of.
This is really interesting. You think that on the one hand, it means that I'm sitting here in my sitting room, right? You can see I'm behind there's a chest of drawers here and a ward thing, whatever. And I've got radio and I've got, you know, glasses. So it doesn't matter that I'm in my sitting room or my dining room. It doesn't matter, right? So that's good, because before you had to be in a power suit. Now I'm wearing track suits underneath here. It's been your power suit and your power environment, right? So that's very good. That the pandemic has allowed us all be who we are. Maybe our kids run around and the dogs run around. It doesn't really matter as long as you can get onto line. That's great. However, I don't want to be pessimistic, but on the flip side, studies are showing, and it's very recent, but women are being disadvantaged significantly in the lockdown, and for a couple of reasons. One of which is the rise of domestic violence, because we're all, God help us, we're all grumpy locked indoors. And if you put into that powerful, explosive mix an abuser and a victim, oh my God, it's horrendous. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is that children are being homeschooled in many countries with lockdowns, and that typically falls to the woman so that she can't do her job. And then also because we need to be out there meeting people, touching people, connecting, you know, holding hands, shaking hands. And without that, it's hard to have that confidence. It's very hard to be confident in your dining room, you know. And I don't have a book of, you know, bookshelves behind me. And I have like it's just an ordinary background. So it's very hard. So although it is good in that it democratizes access in some ways, women, and studies will show this, women are not given the same opportunity, and they're being pulled back they're going back 60 years apparently, because of all those things, that are extra pressures that have been put upon them. So I don't want to be pessimistic, but that's something else we've got to figure out as well, how to make it more equal.
I understand. I totally understand. What I'm trying to understand from the global leaders, that how would you balance your work and life? As you said, there are a lot of in our life. So how do you balance both?
Well, that is very hard. My children, I have two girls, they're grown-ups. So I don't have that pressure as a parent, let alone a mother. as a parent of having to homeschool my kids. I don't have that pressure. And it's hard for me to, if I had littlies running around the place, how do I manage that? And I don't have an answer for that, because we're in lockdown. You can't get an au pair in, you can't get a nanny in, you can't get your mother in maybe, or your dad or something, so I'm not quite sure how to get around that. And the only thing I can say is that women are, I'm not knocking men, but women are infinitely resolute, resourceful, and energetic. And they have to be even more so. They have to figure out, so when the kids go to bed, the women go back to work. And that's always been the case. And I'm kind of putting that call out to other women. Right now in lockdown, you got to work even harder, especially if you are those women who have small children or aged parents that are living in your house and you have all these extra responsibilities. And I think that's really, really tough. And the only thing I can say is that this too will pass. The lockdown will not be forever. And the strengths and the effort you put into now, even if you're only treading water and staying equal, it's well done. Pat yourself on the back and take a bow, because it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy.
Right, and I have seen your profile. You have been taking up so many powerful roles and received so many recognitions. As you said, as time goes, there are lots to add, right? You have been named as a crypto queen, and you were listed in the 50 more influential women in the global blockchain record. But you have mentioned only 2 lines about yourself in the profile sent to us. So I believe it's not because of lack of time. And I was really impressed by that. I felt you are really humble. And what do you think? Being humble is a trait of a leader?
Oh, hugely. I stand on the shoulders of others without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't think that I'm particularly amazing. Make your bed, he says, and that's really good. You've heard that, so it's really good, right? Yes. And I think it's a great idea. Now, I have a duvet, so it's not that hard. I pull the duvet up. It's not like the old days when you got sheets and blankets and a quilt, whatever. I live in Ireland, it's colder, so you got lots of coverings, but it's a duvet. But do you know, just a funny story I can tell you. A couple of years ago, because I had to move on the bed, they looked lovely, right? Now, I'm not that kind of woman ordinarily, but I just thought, I'm going to do this because it's a new house, it's a new start, I'm renting here, whatever. But I would find that during the day, I'd start off with loads of energy. And by the end of the day, I'd be tired. So I would sleep with these cushions. I wouldn't move. If you share a bed with a girlfriend or anything, you don't move, I'd crawl into bed. And I get up the next morning and I kind of make the bed and I pull them up, whatever. So yeah, it's not easy. But if we can all hold on to the thought, going back to you said I've done a lot of things. Age is a factor, of course. The longer you live, the more you can do. But it's also, we need to celebrate the small things we do, because the cushion things, that's just funny. But if I get up and make the bed, if I get up and I do something, if I get up and I write something and I do something, I'm a human being, I'm an ordinary person, I've got a passion for life, I have great kids, and I love what I'm doing, and so can anybody. I'm every woman, everyone's like me, we're all like this. And I think what we need to do is, and I don't often do it for myself,
for ourselves, right? And
yeah.
What do you think are the traits which great leaders should possess when women are coming into leadership? What are the maybe 3 things you think?
Good question. And I haven't thought about this before, so I'm thinking on the fly. Passion. Definitely. You really need to be into what you're doing to be successful. And whether that's minding children, teaching kids, painting pictures, writing art, whatever it is, that you are in your field, do it with passion. And that it helps you, it helps what you do, it's better. Empathy. Empathy is huge. And that's why women leaders are different, I think, to male leaders. And we look around the world and which countries are doing better in with the disease. It's mostly by women leaders who are empathetic. And I think that's huge. You need to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and not just other women's, but other men's too as well, and other people's and other diverse, populations. So I think empathy. So passion, empathy, and a little bit of maybe self-belief, just enough. And someone once said to me, I was trying to get back on my feet again, and they said, Jilly, if you're one paragraph ahead of the next person, you're still a leader. I went, oh, that's interesting. I thought I'd have to be a whole book ahead of somebody, or a whole, series of books. I said, no, you're just a paragraph ahead. You are a leader. You can be a leader. And I thought, so it takes the pressure off what you need to be. So to be a leader, you don't have to be super person. You can just be one paragraph ahead. And if you're passionate about it and you've got empathy for people surrounding, that's maybe a way to lead.
Right. And you are a leader, and I'm sure many may be looking up to you for inspiration, right? So
just don't buy cushions for your
especially in blockchain. I'm sure you are the queen of crypto. So
cushions.
Let me ask you, who inspired you in the way in your journey?
You know something? When I answered the question before, I said my mum, and that is absolutely true. My mum is 90 years of age and an amazing woman. And we had this saying when I was going through all my difficult times. So she would say, ever onwards and upwards, maybe sideways, but never backwards. And that's I often went backwards, but we'll ignore that. But it was a really good, mom is so powerful and she's loving. She's also non-judgmental. That's a huge thing for a human being, to be non-judgmental, amazing. But I also want to add to that. So my mom and my father, who's dead 13 years, also a hugely inspirational person in my life. And my brothers and sisters, whom I love dearly. It's my sister's 60th birthday today. My next one up looks amazing. Looks about 40. She's amazing. But I also discovered, actually, it's not just one person. There are many people I have met along the path of life who have really inspired me. And it may be a small piece here and a small piece there. And I've met someone and I've been really impressed with their ability to do something. And I'm going, whoa, that's cool. So, what I'd like to do, and maybe I'll have time to do it during the lockdown, after the lockdown, is create a big, huge board and put all the people on who have inspired me, from a teacher of history in school, to my mom, to somebody who taught me how to dance, or the person who taught me how to ride a horse. Different people that I'm going, whoa, they're interesting. So yeah, to put one person down is very difficult. My mom is great, and thank God she's still with me and she's amazing. But there are also about another 100 or so people that I want to thank. I better go and figure out who they are and write them down.
That's amazing. That's amazing to know that you have done it, really. Yeah. So that's what we are also trying to do. We are honoring, as I told you, for 500 global women leaders. So this is what we are also trying to express gratitude and trying to learn from the global leaders. So coming to men, have you ever experienced resistance while leading men?
Oh, many times. Many times. My father was a big influence in my life. As he's dead now, he was a man ahead of his time. He would say things like, there's no such word as can't. As children, we weren't allowed to use the word bored, and he wasn't. He was a very gentle, kind, loving man, but, he just... And I'm also learning how to be a DJ. I became a Christmas DJ at Christmas time. And because I don't know music, this is all new to me. And so this man who has a local radio station, he's teaching me how to be a music DJ. I'm so
That's great.
but he's lovely. He puts his faith in me. He says, no, Jill, you're very good. And talking, when there's nobody there talking. So there have been many people, many men. And I don't really differentiate in that sense. I've never really, I wouldn't gravitate towards a male boss or a female boss. So this man, for example, he'll laugh when I tell him about this. He owns this radio station. He believes in me becoming a music DJ. Now, I think his belief is misplaced, but I'm there every Saturday morning and I have my hour show and I'm doing it. And because he believes in me. How powerful is that?
Yes, exactly. That's really...
So not only... So the point is that for me, it's massive. I'm doing these things that I would never have dreamt of doing. And then can we pass it on or pass it forward, whatever? So if I recognize that if someone believes in me, I'm going to do things, the same way, if I believe in other people, they're going to achieve things. I'm going to say, yeah, of course, go and do that. And give them, support them. This man supports me. Other people, you just support them. So believe in yourself, believe in others, and believe when people believe in you.
Right. And have you ever faced resistance? Like you are into a technology where I think male dominated. Yeah. So
I briefly, but not. I did experience a little bit when I was pregnant at one stage working. I had a bit of a resistance because the very young person who was my manager, happened to be male, kind of thought I was on projects, and I'm going, no, the brain is still here, the bump baby here, and I look back at it. At the time, I was very cross, very angry, I must say, but I look back at it now, and I could have handled it differently, So that's my daughter is my youngest, so it was 24 years ago. Do you know what? If I was pregnant again and I came across someone, and this person was not a bad person, they just kind of thought I was on projects because I was pregnant. And with the hindsight of life and experience, I would have I was very argumentative, and I went in there fighting, which is, a natural instinct. But I think I go back there again and just realize the person wasn't a bad person. They just had funny notions, and I could have educated them better, I think. I went the aggressive route. And there's an expression, softly catch you monkey. And it's true, because if I had been prepared to educate him, but I was only like 30 at the time, so I didn't have the patience or the knowledge. And, that's why, I don't know, that's why you're pregnant when you're 30 and not when you're 55. And, it's all mixed up. But yeah, so that's about the only thing I could say that would be, and I wish I'd handled it differently in hindsight. And I wish if someone came to me with that issue, I would give them very different advice to the path that I took. I would say, don't go fighting. Well, unless you have to, unless the person's, not going to listen to you, and then you got to go fighting. You got to.
right, I think the right communication would have done something, right?
Yeah, hindsight.
How much do you think communication is important, and when we are into leadership?
But then also, it's only just communication. I was very young then. I mean, I was 30, so not very young, but I was young and fighting, and I wasn't, I say I have knowledge now that, I've had lots of experiences in my life where I've gone out fighting. I tend to be a bit of a fighter sometimes, and that's good, because I fought when I changed the law, and I fought when I ran for the European parliamentary election. I fought the banks. That's actually good. I'm very happy about that fighting. But how they say, pick your battles? I look back on my life. It's not regret, but I'm going, ooh, I could have done that one a bit better. And there's certain things that I on there a bit, and so yeah, communication is important, but you need to have knowledge behind the communication too as well. And that comes with age sometimes.
Right. And are there some common threads from the experience and skills of current women leaders that future women leaders can learn to get inspired in their journey towards gender equality, or talk about inclusion, diversity and inclusion?
Well, it's hard to say, because a lot of it is age. Age definitely brings knowledge and just even like experience, because you go, oh, I recognize this has happened to me before. I guess we need to talk more about our roles. Like, even, for example, that small example I gave you where I had that run-in with that manager when I was pregnant. And if for example, me talking about it now, maybe somebody listening might be in that position and say, oh, okay, I'm experiencing resistance because I'm pregnant, and I feel that it may be down to the fact that my manager thinks it's because I'm pregnant. And rather than getting on the fighting role, let's try mediation first. Let's try and figure out if there's some way we can talk this through. So it's a bit like the whole thing, be the change you want to see. So, or for example, even recently, I was being interviewed actually by somebody, and he'd written a blog about his wife's, their first baby. There was a miscarriage, and he wrote about it. And in Ireland, women tend not to talk about miscarriage. It's not something that's really spoken of. And so women don't talk about it. the fathers never talk about it. And I was so impressed with this man. And it turned out a lot of men reached out to him and said, oh, wow, I had the same experience, and I'm suffering this huge loss of this child we thought we were going to have, blah, blah. And the point being is that if we talk about these things, we can help people coming through, because sure as eggs is eggs, people have been through similar situations, and the more we talk about it, so you don't have to know me, but maybe you might read about me or someone else. You go, oh, that's what they happened to them. How did they get through it? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me have a go at that.
Right, that's what I'm also trying to learn from all these global leaders. How can we manage situations? And you said your weeks tend to fill about 10 days in advance, right? And how do you manage emergencies in case emergencies come up?
Oh,
Because
okay.
our friends and family always expect us to be there, right?
Yeah.
When you get to the last moment. So how do you manage those situations?
Sometimes you got to drop everything, literally. And I know, because having worked in PR and then media for my career, there's always emergencies in work terms. So you have your day planned, you're going to do this, write this, speak with this, do that, whatever. And then something comes in work-wise and they need it, and the editor needs it in like half an hour. You got to do it. And the same way with life. Sometimes, and I find I'm very focused on work, and I'm very, very focused. And then suddenly something will come in and it's outside, and you got to drop it, because nothing is more important. With work, you got to juggle, sure. But if a life thing comes in and somebody needs your help, or there's something going on, I'm sorry, I drop my clients. Sorry about that, folks. Or I try to find a way around whatever. But, if it's, but it does take me, because I'm so focused. I have to go up, up, up. Oh, oh, this is happening. And then I go, okay, shut the computer and run off and do whatever I need to do. It doesn't happen very often, the emergencies, thankfully.
Yeah, right. And what advice would you like to give to the women who are climbing the leadership ladder?
I would say ask for help. And I have done that from both men and women. And I'm very good at asking, and I'm very good at taking help. That's another thing too, not just to ask for it, but if you ask for help and someone gives it to you, take it. And then the corollary is do the same. As in, if someone asks you to help, take the time out. A conversation. I've often, especially when I was younger, and even now, I'll often reach out to people who are, important to me, and I'll ask them for small favors, 5 minutes of their time, whatever. And I will normally give it, and people will give it too as well. And it can be a big difference in, like, if I'm asking someone for 5 minutes and they give it to me, that could be a huge difference. They might not even know what they're doing. So the same way, I'd say ask for help. Take it. Very important is to take. Just ask for it and then leave it. Take it and then give it. So if somebody and offer help. I will often in recent years I've started to say, people come to me for no reason and they're just talking about stuff, whatever, and there's no real agenda to the conversation per se. I will often finish it, or I'll say, and how can I help you? And it's not. So then they might put the ask in. Now there mightn't be anything, or I mightn't be able to do it, or I might have to put it off. But I increasingly put that. I don't wait for someone to ask me. I'll say, can I help you, or what can I do for you? And if there's something I can do, I'll do it. And it's best to do it straight away, because if you're busy, you forget about it. So, but I think that's
right.
Ask, or people, an American friend of mine will use the term, how can I serve you? Which is quite American, but it's the Irish wouldn't say that. We would say, can I help you? How can I help you? But it's the same idea. You're putting the hand out saying, can I do something for you?
That's an amazing tip when we are really busy, right? Thank you so much for that. And my last two questions, I have a lot of questions to ask. I'm really enjoying the chat, but we have to end it. Okay, so my last two questions would be, how do you feel being in the list of 100 women leaders and being awarded under the sheet trade?
I am gobsmacked, to use an Irish colloquialism. I'm so happy. I didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere. I saw my name. I said, what does that mean? So I am like so humble. And actually, I can give you exactly how I feel. When I ran in the European parliamentary elections in 2014, so I got 11,500 votes, which is huge. I had no money, I had no party, I was an independent. But I look back at those 11,500 votes, right? So at the time I thought, and this is how I feel about this nomination, every vote I got, humble God, I am so, wow, thank you very much. And the nice thing is, I'm going to start off at the beginning. This is not me being whatever. I'm ordinary, and we need lots of ordinary women. We just need ordinary women out there doing extraordinary stuff, whatever. But yeah. So I'm very grateful because I like to think that I'm not scary. I'm approachable. My life has had lots of ups and downs. I've learned stuff. I've done some mad stuff. I have those cushions still. What do you do? Do you know what I do with the cushions? This is how to solve a life trick. I put them at the end of the bed. They stay there all night. So yes, I'm very honored hugely honored and embarrassed.
Thank you so much. You are not just an ordinary leader, right? You shouldn't.
We're all
we are ordinary people doing extraordinary things, right?
I think that's what we need to be. Yeah, so we can live with ourselves, not get too big-headed.
Right. And what would be your message for She Trains Global Mission 2021?
Well, I think what you mean is for the organization. Well, this is a huge undertaking that you're doing, and it's great because I mentioned earlier you got to be the change you want to see, but we can't do it unless people like you guys provide a platform. So that's massive. So the work you're doing here is huge, and it's so important, and it gives everybody. You're doing hundreds of people. That's amazing. It's not just one or two, and that's even better because again, all the ordinary folk out there can go, oh, I identify with her, or I recognize bits of me in that lady. That's so powerful. We are every woman.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Those words really mean a lot to us. Congratulations. And it was great to have you with us today. I really enjoyed the conversation and wish you all the best in your future endeavors as well.
Thank you. I'm going back to go under my cushions.
Okay. Thank you, dear audience, for being with us till now. Requesting you to stay tuned. We'll be back in some time with another powerful global leader at 6:30 p.m. IST. And if you think you are an elite performer and looking for exponential leadership, join us. You can get all the details at gcpit.org. This is Aparna G. Kumar signing off. Good night and stay safe.